We've reported how University of North Carolina trustees agreed to offer tenure to journalist Nikole Hannah-Jones after weeks of controversy. She is here with us now for her first interview since the offer was approved. It was approved last week, Wednesday, July 1st. Nikole Hannah-Jones, we welcome you to CBS This Morning.
Thank you so much.
What have you decided to do? We just heard the vote was 9-4, offering you the tenure. What have you decided?
Well, I've decided to decline the offer of tenure. I will not be teaching on the faculty of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. It's a very difficult decision, not a decision I wanted to make. And instead, I'm going to be the inaugural night chair in race and journalism at Howard University.
So many things to unpack there. First, let's start with you declining the offer. The vote was 9-4, clearly in your favor. There are some people that could say, you said you wouldn't take the job without being offered tenure. They offered you the tenure, and you're still saying, thanks, but no.
Absolutely.
Because?
Well, because look what it took to get tenure. So this was a position that since the 1980s came with tenure. The night chairs are designed for professional journalists who have been working in the field to come into academia. And every other chair before me, who also happened to be white, received that position with tenure.
It had never been denied. No one had
Never
ever been denied tenure before.
Exactly. And I went through the tenure process, and I received the unanimous approval of the faculty to be granted tenure. And so to be denied it and to only have that vote occur on the last possible day, at the last possible moment, after threat of legal action, after weeks of protest, after it became a national scandal, it's just not something that I want anymore.
Because there were two chances, it seems to me, they could have voted for tenure in November. Then you heard that the tenure offer was being pulled. Did anybody explain why it was being pulled?
No, Gayle, to this day, neither the chancellor or the provost or anyone on the board of trustees has ever told me why my tenure was not taken up in November, why it was not taken up in January, and even the public statements about needing more information about my credentials. They voted without ever asking me or receiving any additional information than what they had in November.
Now, at one point, I believe there was an offer that you could work there, you could teach for 5 years, and then they would reconsider tenure. And it seems at one point you had accepted that offer, right?
I did.
To do that? And what changed your mind?
Well, I accepted it after going through months and months of the tenure process. This is my alma mater. I love the university. The university has given me a lot, and I wanted to give back. It was embarrassing to be the first person to be denied tenure. It was embarrassing, and I didn't want this to become a public scandal. I didn't want to drag my university, through the pages of newspapers because I was the first and the only Black person in that position to be denied tenure. So I was willing to accept it.
Yeah, you never spoke up during that time.
Never. This did not become public because of anything that I did. As you know, this is the first time I'm speaking about this at all.
Why do you suppose they didn't right away offer you tenure? What do you think the reason is?
I mean, what has been reported is that there was a great deal of political interference by conservatives who don't like the work that I've done, particularly the 1619 project, and also by the powerful donor who gave the largest donation in the 70-year history of the journalism school. So it's pretty clear that my tenure was not taken up because of political opposition, because of discriminatory views against my viewpoint, and I believe my race and my gender.
Yeah, and let's talk, should politics be part of this process?
No, it's actually...
It seems to become very, very political. Yeah,
it's actually against state law for political interference to be part of the tenure process. So no, it clearly shouldn't. Every person who comes up from tenure should be judged by the quality of their work, by how they went through the tenure process. You know, again, it has to be made clear. I went through the official tenure process, and my peers in academia said that I was deserving of tenure. These board members are political appointees who decided that I wasn't.
And can we say you have a 20-year career with impeccable credentials? Let's talk about the 1619 project, because the New York Times did issue a clarification, not a correction. They said they have stood by you. There was a clarification. What was the clarification, and what is your response to the criticism?
Sure. So the clarification was that we added 2 words to a statement on the role of slavery in the American Revolution. The original text, right? The original text said that one of the primary reasons that colonists decided to break off from the British Empire was to preserve slavery. We added that one of the primary reasons that some of the colonists decided to break off. It was a clarification, and I think, you know, in academia and in journalism, we should clarify if necessary.
Yeah.
That's never been seen somehow as making a project illegitimate because you try to strengthen and clarify your argument.
You know, you've released an 8-page statement. I encourage people to read the statement. It's 8 pages where you really take us through exactly what happened. I want people to understand you had offers from many universities after this controversy started to arise with North Carolina. Many people approached you and said, please come here, including Howard. Why did you decide that it would be Howard? And I raise that question because some would say, look, Howard already understands this. Would you be more effective working for, say, a predominantly white university that may need to understand the work that you do?
Yeah, you know, I have been very, very thoughtful about my decision to go to an historically black college. And what I decided is, since the second grade, when I started being bused into white schools, I've spent my entire life proving that I belonged in elite white spaces that were not built for black people. And I just decided, you know, I got a lot of clarity through what happened with the University of North Carolina. I decided I didn't want to do that anymore, that black professionals should feel free and actually perhaps an obligation to go to our own institutions and bring our talents and resources to our own institutions and help to build them up as well. This is not my fight. I fought the battle that I wanted to fight, which is I deserve to be treated equally and have a vote on my tenure. I won that battle. But it's not my job to heal the University of North Carolina. That's the job of the people in power who created the situation in the first place.
Are there any other reasons, and they never gave you reasons, but are there any other reasons that you could think of other than the 1619 project that they would delay your tenure or that this would become a controversy?
Absolutely not. If anyone looks at my track record as a journalist, I work at the New York Times. Look at the awards I've won. Look at the work that I've done. I wish that we could make public, you know, the letters of recommendation from others in the field. It is clear that I was credentialed enough to teach 18-year-olds how to do journalism at the University of North Carolina. So I don't think anyone can say that there was any other reason other than political appointees did not like the nature of my work, and that is illegal discrimination.
Had you told North Carolina your decision before joining us today? We like an inclusive always, but had you informed them that this was a decision you were going to make?
I told Dean Susan King, who has been a tremendous advocate for me, who has been one of the few leaders who has shown, I think, a great deal of integrity during this process. I told members of the Carolina Black Caucus, and I told the group of student protesters. I went down to North Carolina this past weekend so that I could tell them in person how grateful I was for their support, how appalled I was at the way that the students were treated at their Board of Trustees meeting, and that I wasn't coming because I didn't want them to feel betrayed. But as for the chancellor and the provost, I didn't, because I haven't heard from them since this happened, so I didn't feel the need to.
You haven't heard from them?
Absolutely not.
What is a personal toll it's taken on you? You started, when you read your statement, you said, listen, you've been a Tar Heels fan since you were a little girl watching the games. Go Heels. I know you're supposed to say that when you talk about North Carolina, but you've been a fan for a very long time. What has this meant to you personally? How has this affected you personally?
It's been extremely difficult. People see me as some type of a symbol of things either they love or they hate, but I'm a human being. I didn't ask for this. I really just wanted to give back to the place that has given me so much. This same year, I was inducted into the North Carolina Media Hall of Fame by the University of North Carolina. The organization I founded, the Ida B. Wells Society for Investigative Reporting, is housed at the University of North Carolina. I was so excited to have the opportunity to engage with students the way that my professors engage with me. And this has been one of the most difficult periods of my life, which is why I've been really silent about it.
And how do you feel about going to Howard? I know at Howard, I would imagine they are doing the hula, that they have Nikole Hannah-Jones on their staff.
Yeah, you know, your good friend, Oprah, told me at one point on another project that she felt I was in a supreme moment of destiny.
Oh.
And that is how I've been thinking about Howard University. One of my few regrets in life is that I didn't go to Howard as an undergraduate. And I have long wanted to be a part of the Howard family. And it's just so clear that this is the right thing for me to do at this moment. Howard has an amazing journalism program. As you know, I'm bringing with me, at this point, $15 million in resources to help build up investigative reporting and journalism at Howard and other historically black colleges. I'm trying to raise a total of $25 million. So to be able to bring that type of resources to a university that always punches above its weight, I'm so excited.
Well,
something great came out of this.
I think we will say congratulations to you, Nikole Hannah-Jones, and we'll get a statement from the University of North Carolina. Thank you so much for telling us this morning.
Thank you.